In the forgotten corners of Amiri village, where crimson dust settled like sorrow on every doorstep and empty cooking pots sang their hollow songs, lived a girl whose name would one day echo with triumph. But first, she would taste the bitter bread of betrayal. Amara was 22, yet her eyes carried the ancient wisdom of 100 storms weathered alone. 5 years had crawled by since death claimed her mother's gentle hands, leaving her orphaned in a house that had become her prison. Her father, Benedict, once tender as morning rain on cassava leaves, had transformed into something unrecognizable, a man drowning in palm wine and cruelty. As if fate had not been harsh enough, Benedict brought home a second wife, Juliana, a name that mocked its meaning, whose heart harbored nothing but venom for the daughter she had not birthed. From dawn's first blush to evening's dying breath, Amara's hands knew only labor: cooking, fetching firewood, sweeping compounds, tending farms. Her reward? A mat in the corner and the luxury of hunger. The village whispered her story like a prayer for the broken, but whispers do not fill empty stomachs or shield against cruel hands. No one dared challenge Benedict's madness. Fear had made cowards of them all. Then came Chike, like a question mark, written across Amara's predetermined fate. City clothes hung loose on his frame, shoes spoke of long journeys, but his eyes, those eyes burned with determination that poverty had not yet extinguished. For 3 months, Chike labored under Benedict's scorching commands: bush clearing, cassava planting, load carrying, his back bent under the weight of promises that felt increasingly hollow. Each evening brought the same cruel song: "Tomorrow, young man, when I sell something, I'll pay you." Tomorrow became a ghost that never materialized. On one particularly merciless afternoon, when the sun seemed intent on punishing the earth itself, Chike's patience finally cracked like dried mud. "Sir, please, I need my wages today." Benedict scratched his graying head, his bloodshot eyes scanning his compound like a vulture searching for carrion. Then his gaze fell upon Amara, bent over her endless sweeping, and something wicked sparkled in those drink-clouded depths. "What do you want?" Benedict asked, his voice carrying the weight of a decision that would shatter one life while perhaps saving another. "Yes, sir. 3 months of honest work." "Take that girl instead." The words fell like stones into still water, creating ripples that would never stop spreading. Chike's confusion painted itself across his features. "Take who?" "My daughter. She's good for nothing anyway. Let her follow you to the city. That's your payment." The compound seemed to tilt on its axis. Amara's broom clattered to the ground as if it too had given up. "Daddy, please, no!" "Shut your mouth!" Benedict's voice cracked like thunder. "You should be grateful someone wants you." Juliana folded her arms, satisfaction spreading across her face like oil on water. Good riddance, one less mouth to feed. Amara crumpled to her knees, her pleas mixing with dust and tears. But in that compound, Mercy had died long ago. Only young Emeka, her half-brother, cried behind the house, the only witness to her sister's breaking. Chike studied the broken girl before him. Beneath the exhaustion and despair, something luminous persevered, a spirit that suffering had bent but not destroyed. "She's beautiful," he whispered, not knowing he spoke aloud. "What did you say?" Benedict demanded. "I'll take her," Chike replied, his voice carrying a weight he himself didn't fully understand. The journey to the city unwound like thread from a spool of destiny. Amara pressed her face against the bus window, watching her old life disappear into dust clouds and distance. Everything she had ever known, however painful, was fading behind her. Fear and hope wrestled in her chest like sparring children. Lord, she prayed silently, her lips barely moving, please don't let this man carry the same darkness as my father. I am tired, so tired of carrying pain like water in a broken pot. Chike spoke little during those long hours, but his eyes occasionally found her reflection in the window. Each glance carried something she had never seen before. Not hunger or possession, but something gentler. Something that looked almost like protection. When the city finally embraced them with its symphony of noise and neon, Amara's eyes widened like a child seeing the ocean for the first time. The tricycle carried them through streets that seemed paved with dreams she had never dared to dream. Then Chike stopped before gates that looked like they guarded paradise itself. The compound beyond was a masterpiece of peace. White walls gleaming, flowers arranged like prayers, even a fountain singing its liquid song in the corner. They walked past the main house, a structure that belonged in fairy tales, and stopped at a smaller building nestled behind it like a precious secret. "This is where I live," Chike said, his smile carrying warmth she hadn't felt in years. Amara stepped into the boys' quarters with reverence usually reserved for holy places. One bedroom, a sitting area, a kitchen that sparkled with cleanliness, a bathroom with running water, luxuries she had only heard whispered about in dreams. "I just got work as a security guard," Chike continued, watching her wonder with gentle eyes. "The house owner is kind. She lets me stay here freely as long as I keep the compound safe." The bed had clean sheets and a roof that didn't leak prayers through its holes. It was smaller than the main house, yes, but to Amara, it felt like stepping into heaven's waiting room. "If this is God's purpose for my journey, then so be it," she whispered, her voice barely audible. Chike studied her face. "Are you at peace with this?" She nodded, tears finally spilling over like water from a cup too full of mercy. "Yes, I have peace. I haven't felt this in so long I almost forgot what it tasted like." 2 days later, Amara awakened to something she had almost forgotten existed, the smell of food being prepared with love rather than obligation. Sunlight streamed through windows like liquid gold, and for the first time in years, her sleep had been unmarked by fear. She found Chike in the kitchen, tending a pan with the same care he had shown her. "Good morning," she said, her voice still soft with wonder. "Morning, Amara. I made breakfast. I hope you slept well." "Like a baby," she replied, and they both laughed, the first real laughter she had tasted in seasons. After breakfast, Chike's eyes held a new light. "Get dressed. I want you to meet someone." "Who?" Curiosity colored her voice. "You'll see. Just wear something simple and neat." Madame Okafor stood in her doorway like grace personified, a woman in her 50s with eyes that had learned to see souls rather than surfaces. "Good morning, Ma," Chike greeted respectfully. "Morning, Chike. And who is this beautiful young lady?" "This is Amara, my wife." Madame Okafor's eyes lit up. "So this is the wife you spoke about. She's lovely indeed. Come inside, my dear." The living room gleamed with a prosperity that didn't feel cold, but welcoming. Madame Okafor took Amara's hand with the gentleness of a grandmother. "You're welcome, Amara. I like you already. You have a sweet spirit. I'm happy Chike brought you here. Call me Madame Okafor and feel free in this house, okay?" "Yes, Ma," Amara replied, her shy smile blooming. That evening, as Chike worked quietly repairing a wardrobe handle and Amara finished arranging their small domain, something heavy pressed against her chest, the need to speak truth into the space between them. "Chike?" she called gently. "Yes?" He looked up from his work. "Can I tell you something?" She took a deep breath. When my father said I should follow you to the city, I felt worthless, like I was being thrown away like spoiled food. I thought maybe you would be worse than him. Maybe you would shout at me, beat me, treat me like I was born only to serve. Chike stood slowly, giving him her complete attention. But you didn't. Her voice cracked. You gave me peace. You gave me space. You respected me. You even cooked for me. She wiped her eyes. I want to thank you. I don't regret coming here anymore. I'm no longer angry that my father traded me like a goat. Maybe this was God's plan all along. Chike settled beside her, taking her hand with the reverence of someone handling something precious. I would never hurt you, Amara. That's not the kind of man I want to be. He paused. Do you know something? I noticed you long before that day. The very first time I saw you on the farm, something in my chest stirred. I wanted to speak to your father about you, but I was scared. I thought he would reject me, insult me, chase me away because I had nothing to offer. But that day when he told me to take you instead of paying me, I was shocked, yes. But inside, I was happy. It felt like God was opening a door I was too afraid to knock on. Amara looked down. I don't love you yet, Chike. I know, he said quickly, and I'm not rushing you. She nodded slowly. But I like how you treat me. Like I matter. Like I'm not a mistake. Like he finished gently. Because you are, Amara. You're a queen who's just been hidden in the wrong palace. Amara laughed softly, wiping another tear. For the first time in her memory, she felt truly seen. Love hadn't yet rooted in her heart's soil, but something beautiful was already sprouting. Respect, peace, and the rarest flower of all, trust. A month flowed by like water finding its proper course. Amara's confidence began unfurling like a flower that had finally found sunlight. She cooked with growing creativity, even keeping a small notebook where she recorded new recipes, the first book she had ever owned. One bright afternoon, as she helped Madame Okafor carry groceries into the main house, the older woman called her aside. Amara, come sit with me for a minute. Ma? Amara settled beside her, curiosity dancing in her eyes. Chiki told me something wonderful about you. Madame Okafor's smile carried maternal warmth. He says you're a magnificent cook, and I agree. I've been watching you closely, my dear. You're humble, hardworking, and you have a good heart. Amara's cheeks warmed. Thank you, Ma. My cook has traveled overseas with her family, and now I need someone I can trust to take her place. I've been watching you, and I believe you are exactly the right person. Amara's mouth opened in shock. Ma, thank you so much. You're so kind. God will bless you. I don't even know what to say. Madame Okafor patted her hand. You deserve it, child. You're a good girl. Still shaking with joy, Amara wiped her face quickly. Ma, can I tell you something? Of course, my child. I've been looking for a way to earn money, not just for clothes or things, but I want to go to school. I want to further my education and go to university. Madame Okafor's face lit up. You want to go to university? Yes, Ma. I stopped after secondary school because of family issues, but I love learning. I really want to go back. Madame Okafor reached over and wrapped her in a hug. My child, I love education. I love girls who love school. That is a beautiful dream, and I'm proud of you. Amara felt her heart swell. Thank you, Ma. Thank you so much. As soon as she finished in the kitchen, Amara rushed back to the boys' quarters, her heart beating with excitement. Chike, Chike, she called. He emerged from the bedroom, surprised. "What is it? Why are you shouting like the house is on fire?" "Chike, you won't believe what just happened." She was smiling so broadly her cheeks ached. "Madame Okafor said I should become her new cook." "Wait, seriously?" "Yes, and she's going to pay me every month. I also told her that I want to go to university, and she was so happy." Chike pulled her into a hug that lifted her feet off the ground. "That's my wife, my brilliant, hard-working wife." Amara laughed, blushing. Chike, don't start." "No, I mean it," he said, holding her hands. "You've come so far, from the village to the city, from tears to smiles, from rejection to celebration." She nodded. "It feels like a dream." "And the best part is," Chike added, "that the dream is just getting started." That night, after a dinner seasoned with laughter and hope, Amara and Chike lay side by side, watching shadows dance on the ceiling. After a long silence, she turned to look at him. "Chike?" "Yes?" "Can I ask you something?" "Anything." Amara took a breath. "You haven't, you know, touched me since I came here." Chike blinked, caught off guard. "I mean, we're married. If it was another man, maybe he would have done it the first night I entered this house." Chike sat up slowly, leaning against the wall. "You're right, Amara. Many men would have done that. But I'm not just any man. I didn't bring you here to use you. I brought you here to love you, to care for you, to protect you. You've been through so much already. I see the pain in your eyes sometimes, even when you smile. I don't want to add to that pain. I want you to be ready. I want you to love me first. Then, when your heart is at peace, you can willingly give yourself to me. Not because you feel forced, not because you feel like you owe me. I know you've never been with any man before. You've carried shame, rejection, and fear for too long. That night your father gave you away like you were nothing. It broke something inside you. But Amara, you are not nothing. You are everything. You are strong. You are special. And when that time comes, when your heart says yes, not because of pressure, but because of love, then I'll be ready too." Tears rolled down Amara's cheeks. "You really mean all this?" "I do," he said. "I want you to feel safe with me, Amara. This marriage must be built on love, not fear." She wiped her tears, smiling softly. "Thank you, Chike. You've changed my life in so many ways. I thought all men were like my father, but you're different." Chike leaned closer and kissed her forehead. "Good night, my queen." Amara lay back down, her heart full of peace she had never known before. For the first time in her life, she felt truly safe in the presence of a man, not just a husband, but a friend. Just 2 days after Amara began working as the house cook, something happened that would test the foundation of the peace she had found. That morning, she was in the kitchen preparing Madame Okafor's favorite vegetable soup, her hands skillfully slicing ugu leaves, when the kitchen door opened behind her. She turned to see a tall, handsome young man standing in the doorway, staring at her with an intensity that made her skin crawl. Tobias, Madame Okafor's only son. He looked shocked for a moment, then smiled in a way that made Amara's stomach twist. "Damn, you are so beautiful." Amara stood still, surprise and discomfort warring in her chest. "My mom told me about you," he continued, walking slowly into the kitchen. "She said you were smart, humble, and beautiful, but honestly, I thought she was exaggerating until now." He placed his hand on the counter, his eyes traveling over her like she was something to be appraised and purchased. Wow, girl, you are so damn fine. I think God created you on a Sunday morning. He must have taken his sweet time with you. Amara felt her skin crawl. She looked down quickly, trying to focus on her cooking. Good afternoon, sir. Tobias laughed and waved his hand dismissively. Come on, don't call me sir. I'm just a little boy, you know. You can call me Tobias. Amara shook her head firmly. No, sir, I can't. It's not proper. He smiled again, that same smile that made her want to run. You're so polite. I like that. She didn't reply, just continued cooking in silence, hoping he would leave. After what felt like hours, but was only minutes, Tobias finally left the kitchen, still smiling that uncomfortable smile. That evening, Amara returned to the boys' quarters with a heavy heart. Chike was waiting for her outside, sitting on a wooden bench they had placed under a small tree. Welcome, my queen, he said cheerfully. How was work today? Amara sat beside him, her face troubled. Chike, something happened today. He turned to her quickly, concern replacing his cheerful expression. What is it? Are you okay? Yes, I'm fine, but Madame Okafor's son Tobias came into the kitchen. Okay, Chike said, watching her closely. He was saying things that made me very uncomfortable. He told me I'm beautiful, that God created me on a Sunday morning, and that I should stop calling him sir and call him by his name instead. Chike frowned slightly, then gave a small smile. Ah, that's Tobias. He's a funny guy. That's how he jokes. Amara didn't smile back. Chike, I didn't like the way he was looking at me, like I'm something to eat. Chike laughed softly and touched her hand. It's okay, my beautiful wife. Don't let it bother you. Tobias is harmless. He just likes talking. He doesn't mean anything bad. Amara looked into Chike's eyes, searching for understanding. Are you sure? I'm sure, he said gently. But if he ever crosses the line, just tell me. I'll protect you always. She nodded slowly. Okay, if you say so. He kissed her forehead. You're safe with me, Amara. Always. But deep inside Amara's heart, something still felt wrong. There was something in Tobias's eyes that made her uncomfortable, something she couldn't explain, something that felt like danger wearing a smile. A few days later, Amara was in the kitchen again, preparing lunch with the same careful attention she brought to everything. She didn't know that someone had been watching her from the shadows, studying her movements like a predator learning its prey's habits. Tobias entered the kitchen slowly, leaning against the doorframe with casual confidence that felt more like arrogance. You know, there's something special about the way you cook. Amara turned and greeted him politely, though her stomach already felt tight. Good afternoon, sir. He ignored the greeting, walking closer with purpose. Amara, I've been thinking. I don't want to waste time, so let me go straight to the point. She paused, a wooden spoon frozen in her hand. Tobias stepped closer, lowering his voice. I like you. I mean it. You're beautiful, smart, hardworking, and I'm not just saying this to flatter you. I want you to be my girl. Amara blinked. Sir? Yes, listen carefully. I'll change your life completely. I'll send you to school, not just any school. I'll sponsor you to study abroad if that's what you want. London, Canada, anywhere your heart desires. I'll give you a new phone, clothes, money, everything you need. You'll never have to struggle again. Amara stepped back slowly, her heart beating fast. Tobias moved closer, his voice becoming more insistent. "You're wasting your time with that poor security guard. What is he doing for you?" "Nothing. I can tell my mom to sack him today or pay him off to disappear. Just say yes to me, my love, and your life will never be the same." Amara took a deep breath and stepped back again, her voice calm but firm. "With all due respect, sir, I am not interested." Tobias raised an eyebrow, his smile faltering. "What?" "I am focused on my marriage, my work, and my dream to go to school. I'm not going to throw that away for quick pleasure." He laughed, but there was no humor in it. "Marriage? Don't tell me you're calling that thing with Chike a marriage. You should be ashamed. At your age, you should be in school or dating someone like me, not wasting away with a broke security guard." "I am not ashamed. I'm proud of my husband. He treats me with respect and love. He doesn't have much now, but I know one day God will answer his prayers and make him a wealthy man." He scoffed. "You're dreaming, girl." "I'd rather dream with a man who loves me than live a fake life with someone who only wants to use me." He shook his head. "You'll regret this." "No, sir. If standing by the man who stood by me is a mistake, then I'll gladly make it over and over again." Tobias stared at her with growing anger before turning and leaving the kitchen, his footsteps heavy with frustration. That evening, Amara returned to the boys' quarters, carrying the weight of Tobias's words like stones in her heart. Chike noticed immediately. Her usual bright greeting was absent, her smile nowhere to be found. "My queen, you're quiet today. Are you okay?" he asked gently. She looked at him, tears quietly building in her eyes. "Tobias came to me again." Chike stood up slowly, his hands unconsciously forming fists. "What happened?" "This time he made big promises, school abroad, money, clothes, a new life, but only if I agreed to be his girl." Her voice cracked. "He said he can pay you off or tell his mother to sack you just to take me for himself." Chike's eyes darkened with anger, but when he saw the pain in Amara's face, his expression softened. "What did you tell him?" "I told him no. I told him I am not interested. I told him I believe in you, in us. I know one day God would bless you." Chike looked at her, touched beyond words. He pulled her close and held her tightly, as if he could shield her from the world's cruelty with his arms alone. "Thank you, Amara. Thank you for standing by me." She smiled through her tears. "You stood by me first. Now it's my turn." That night, they prayed together before sleeping, asking God for protection, for wisdom, and for the strength to face whatever storms might come. The next day, Amara woke with a heart heavy as storm clouds. She was tired of pretending, tired of smiling when Tobias's words echoing her mind like poison. She had tried to ignore him, tried to handle it quietly, but enough was enough. She walked straight to the main house and knocked gently on the door. Maramo Kaffer opened with her usual warm smile. "Amara, my daughter, good morning. I hope you slept well." "Good morning, Ma." She looked down at her feet. Madame Kaffer noticed the change immediately. "What's wrong, Amara? You don't look like yourself." Amara took a deep breath. "Ma, I came to talk to you. Please don't be angry." "Of course not, my dear. Talk to me." "It's about your son, Tobias." Maramo Kaffer looked surprised. "Tobias? What about him?" "He's been disturbing me, saying things that make me very uncomfortable. He's been promising me money, telling me to leave my husband and be with him. He said he'll send me abroad and give me a better life if I agree." Maramo Kaffer's mouth opened slightly. "He even said he'll pay Chike off or get him sacked
just so he can have me for himself. Ma, I respect you. I respect this house, but I can't keep quiet anymore. Maramo Kafir sat back, her expression shifting to something calculating. After a long silence, she said softly, Amara, you're a beautiful and wise girl. You deserve a better life. Maybe my son just sees your potential. Maybe you should give him a chance. Amara's eyes widened. Ma, Maramo Kafir's voice was businesslike now. Look, I'm not saying you should leave your husband anyhow, but just think about it. We can give you everything you want: education, comfort, even your husband will benefit. We can pay him off to walk away. This is a good opportunity for you. Amara stood up slowly, her hands shaking but her voice steady. With all due respect, Ma, I am not that kind of woman. I didn't come here to sell myself. I didn't marry TK because of money. I married him because when the world turned its back on me, he stood by me. When my own father gave me away like a bag of yam, he gave me dignity. Tears filled her eyes, but she didn't stop. Ma, I'd rather quit this job than be with someone I don't love. I will never betray my husband. Never. I'm sorry, Ma, but I'm done here. If your son doesn't stop this nonsense, we'll leave this house. I won't stay where I'm disrespected. She turned and walked quickly, wiping her tears as she marched back to the boys' quarters. After storming out of Maramo Kafir's house, Amara's heart burned with disbelief. She couldn't understand how a woman she respected could treat love like a transaction. When she entered the room, she stopped completely, her mouth falling open in shock. Bundles of money sat on the small table. She froze. Chike, what's going on? Where did you get this money from? Chike stood up slowly, looking at her with soft eyes. My love, come and sit down. Amara sat, still staring at the money. Talk to me, Chike. What is all this? He smiled sadly. This money, I've been saving it for a long time, little by little. I plan to use it to start my business. That's been my dream since I came to the city. But today, when I saw the kind of woman you are, how you defended me, rejected wealth, and chose love, I told myself you deserve better. I want you to use this money for your education. Amara was speechless for a moment. Then she shook her head firmly. No! I'm serious, Amara. And I'm serious too, she replied with passion. No, Chike, never. This is your dream. You saved this money with sweat and hard work. You wanted to start a business, and now you want to throw it away because of me? But I love you, he protested. And I love you too. That's why I want us to use this money wisely. Let's rent a small room outside this compound. Let's start a business together. You can run it, I'll help you cook and manage it. When it starts growing, I'll go to school one step at a time. Chike stared at her in awe. Amara, you are not just beautiful, you are wise. You are special. You are everything I prayed for. She smiled through her tears. And I am the only man I want. They kissed for the first time, not because of pressure or obligation, but because of love, trust, and unity. That night they lay in each other's arms, speaking little but feeling much. As moonlight streamed through the window, Amara whispered, Our better days are coming. Chike answered, Yes, my queen. Step by step, we will get there together.
The next day, Chike was not home. Amara had woken early, swept the room, and cleaned everywhere with the thoroughness of someone preparing for a new chapter. But her heart was still heavy from the conversation with Madame Kafir the day before. She kept thinking about everything: Tobias's behavior, Madame Kafir's shocking offer, and her bold decision to walk away from it all. Just when she sat down to rest, there was a knock on the door. She opened it and was shocked to see Madame Kafir and Tobias standing outside, their faces serious and humble. Good morning, my daughter, Madame Kafir said gently. Please, Amara, we came to apologize. Tobias added, his voice stripped of arrogance. Please, we are so sorry for everything, for what I said, for what my mother said too. We were wrong. Amara stepped back and let them in, her heart cautiously hopeful. Madame Okafor looked at Amara with kind eyes. We are deeply sorry for everything, for what my son said to you, for what I said too. We were wrong, completely wrong. Tobias lowered his head. I was foolish. I allowed pride and bad behavior to blind me, but I see it clearly now. Chike is lucky. You're a real wife. Madame Okafor nodded. Yes, he's very lucky to have someone like you. You are special, Amara. Women like you are not easy to find. Amara's eyes softened. Thank you, Ma. I'm not angry anymore. I forgive you. Madame Okafor smiled, then said something that made Amara's eyebrows furrow. You are my son's wife. Amara frowned slightly. Your son? Madame Okafor smiled mysteriously. Don't worry, my dear. You will understand soon. After a few more minutes of conversation, they stood up, hugged her warmly, and left. Amara stood by the door, confused by Madame Okafor's final words echoing in her mind like a riddle. Later that evening, Chike returned home looking tired but happy. She turned sharply when she heard his footsteps. Where did you go since morning? I've been waiting for you. My love, he said softly, there's something I need to tell you. Amara folded her arms. What now, Chike? Chike took her hands and looked straight into her eyes. Amara, I'm sorry. She raised an eyebrow. Sorry for what? He took a deep breath. For lying to you. Amara's expression darkened. Lying about what? Daniel, Tobias, is not just the landlady's son. He is my younger brother. And Madame Okafor, she's not my boss. She is my mother. Amara gasped. What? Chike, you mean all this while? He nodded. Yes, I didn't plan to lie for long. I just needed to know if someone could love me for me, not for my money or my background. I've been heartbroken too many times. Women pretended to love me, but they were only after my wealth. They left when I refused to continue spoiling them. Amara sat down slowly. You went far, Chike. You shouldn't have done that. I know, my love. You have every right to be angry. Please forgive me. There was silence for a while, heavy with tension. Then Amara smiled faintly. Okay, fine. I forgive you. But you owe me. Chike laughed in relief. What do I owe you? You owe me a car and a mansion for lying to me, she said, smiling. Chike laughed louder. That's nothing, my queen. Consider it done. Amara jumped into his arms. I love you so much, Chike. And I love you even more, Dr. Amara-to-be, he replied. They kissed deeply, their love now free of secrets. The news spread quickly. Chike, the poor security guard, was actually a billionaire. The revelation traveled from the city back to Amiri village. When Amara's father heard the news, he almost choked on his palm wine. He picked up his phone and called her immediately, his voice humble. My daughter, please forgive me. I didn't know God had blessed you like this. Amara was silent, letting his words hang in the air. I want your sister to come and stay with you in the city. Things are hard here. No, Amara said calmly but firmly. I forgive you, but I want to stay far away from you and your wife. I'm at peace now. I suffered too much under your roof. Her voice sharpened. If you ever need help for something truly important, you can call me. But please don't call me for nonsense. She hung up and looked up toward heaven. Thank you, Jesus, for bringing Chike into my life. Years flowed by like a river finding its proper course, carrying Amara toward the dreams she had whispered in her heart during those dark nights in her father's compound. She wore her white coat and walked across the graduation stage with the grace of someone who had earned every step. She was now Dr. Amara, a qualified medical doctor whose name would be spoken with respect rather than pity. Chike was the loudest voice in the crowd, his pride bursting. "That's my wife! Come here, you beautiful, brilliant woman!" After the ceremony, he hugged her tightly. "I'm so proud of you, baby. You are mine forever." She smiled. "Thank you for believing in me. Thank you for everything, honey. You are the world's best husband." He kissed her forehead. "And you are my forever queen." One peaceful afternoon, Chike took Amara on a quiet drive through winding roads that seemed to lead toward more dreams being fulfilled. They entered a grand estate and stopped in front of a huge white mansion with golden gates. Amara looked around, her eyes wide. "Why are we here?" Chike smiled and brought out a bunch of keys. "This is your mansion, my queen." Amara screamed, laughing and crying at the same time. "Chike, stop playing." "I'm serious," he said, smiling wider. "I promise you a car and a mansion, and here they are." She hugged him, her emotions spilling over. "I also have good news," she said, her eyes sparkling. "What is it?" he asked. "I went for a test last week. I'm 3 months pregnant." Chike stood still for a moment, then shouted with joy, "Amara, are you serious?" "Yes," she laughed. "We're going to have a baby." He lifted her off the ground and spun her around. "God, thank you. I will spoil you and our baby forever." He knelt and kissed her stomach. "My baby, Daddy loves you already." Amara smiled through tears, her hands resting on her belly. "From being rejected to becoming royalty," she said softly. And so Amara's story came full circle, not the cruel circle of repeated pain, but the beautiful circle of redemption, where endings become beginnings, and what looked like destruction becomes the foundation for something magnificent. From the dusty compounds of a Miri village where her name was whispered with pity, to the gleaming halls of medical school where her name would be spoken with respect, from sleeping on mats in corners to owning mansions with golden gates, from being traded like merchandise to being treasured like the queen she always was. But perhaps the greatest transformation was not in her circumstances, but in her heart. From a girl who believed she was worthless to a woman who knew her true value. From someone who expected cruelty to someone who had learned to recognize real love when it appeared wearing work clothes and speaking gentle words. Chike had seen her when she was invisible to everyone else. He had valued her when her own father saw her as nothing more than payment for unpaid wages. He had protected her dignity when others tried to buy her like a commodity. And Amara? She had chosen love over luxury, partnership over quick fixes, building something real over accepting something fake. She had stood by the man who stood by her, and together they had built a love that no amount of money could buy because it was already priceless. As they stood together, looking out over the life they had built, brick by brick, dream by dream, Amara whispered, "Thank you, God, for writing a better story than I ever dared to imagine." And somewhere in the distance, if you listened carefully, you could almost hear the sound of a village girl's broken dreams being transformed into a queen's triumphant song. Dear viewers, what lessons echo in your hearts from this dramatic tale of transformation? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If Amara's journey touched your soul, give us a thumbs up,
Share the story with friends who need to hear that their current chapter is not their final destination, and hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss our latest stories of hope, redemption, and the power of choosing love over convenience. Stay blessed.